Okay, welcome to our lesson on the outcome component of your research project. I'm going to start by talking about what the outcome is, what's required of you. We're going to go through some grade descriptors. I'm going to show you where to look at some examples of an A plus level outcome and then a C plus level outcome. And then we're going to look at some examples of presenting your outcome creatively. The outcome is a collection of your key findings or main conclusions in your research. These main points are backed up with examples and evidence that has been shown in your folio. So basically you're bringing together the key things that you have found during your folio development, during the research process. Any points that you make in your outcome will need to be backed up with examples and evidence that's shown in your folio. If you're doing research project A, the word count is 1,500 words, or 10 minutes if you're doing an oral presentation, or a combination of the two. If you're doing research project B, to get an ATAR, it's 2,000 words, or a 12-minute oral presentation, or a combination of the two. There's a lot of different forms of presentation, and we'll look at some examples of what other students have done. Quite common choices are written reports, or an essay, booklet or article with results, conclusions, recommendations or solutions to a problem or question. A product, such as a created artifact, manufactured article, work of art or literature. So if you are making something, designing something, recording a song, renovating some kind of item, then that is what your outcome will form a product. Could be a display or exhibition, a multimedia presentation, something like how the way this lesson has been put together, a performance, live or recorded, a combination of any of the above, or another form that you've negotiated with me. You do have to, I want you to think about what it is, how you want to present your outcome, and then check it with me. You'll be assessed on your ability to demonstrate 3 different things. Synthesis, and that is making well-constructed arguments in a clear and logical manner. These arguments should also have a conclusion or make recommendations or solutions to problems. A physical object may also be part of your outcome. So if your research project did not come to a conclusion, if you did not come to a definitive answer, then you need to make some sort of recommendation or suggest some sort of solution to answer that question. Substantiation, how well you provide evidence for the arguments put forward in your research. So how well do you back up what you're saying? Clarity and coherence, how well your outcome reads, including spelling, grammar and the flow of your work. So it needs to be easy to read, it needs to read well, it needs to be clear, and you obviously need to use correct spelling and grammar. Here are the performance standards. If you're looking for an A, then you're going to have insightful synthesis of knowledge, skills and ideas to produce a well-developed research outcome. Insightful and thorough substantiation of key findings central to the research outcome, and clear and coherent expression of ideas. If you're wanting to get a C, then you need to have adequate synthesis of knowledge, skills and ideas to produce a research outcome, substantiation of some key findings central to the research outcome, and a generally clear expression of ideas. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what each of these grades look like. So this is what an A looks like. There's some likely characteristics. So your research outcome directly demonstrates or answers the research topic. So your outcome is directly related to your research question. You are directly answering that question. Your synthesis consists of the deliberate bringing together of the most important knowledge, complex ideas and skills from the research into the research outcome. So you are drawing together all of the things you have learned. The knowledge, the complex ideas and the skills you've developed are being brought together and demonstrated as part of the research outcome. Your substantiation consists of the identification of key findings from the research and the validation validation by referenced examples and evidence. So you need to make sure that you are using reliable sources to back up your information, and that any sort of claim you make is validated by several examples. So it's backed up by a source, which is backed up by another source. Expression is fluent, logical, and well suited to the purpose. Meaning is clear. And you acknowledge your sources accurately, so your referencing is completed accurately. Here's what a B looks like. Likely characteristics. Your research outcome addresses the research topic. The synthesis consists of the purposeful combination of knowledge, ideas, and skills from the research into the research outcome. Your substantiation, which is the backing up of your evidence, consists of the extraction of most of the key findings from the research and validation of most by referenced examples and evidence. Expression is for the major part fluent and logical, and you acknowledge your sources accurately.
It might be that it's teaching communication, or it might be teaching fractions.
Here's a C grade. Research outcome relates to the research topic, but it lacks complexity. So it's simple. You have not delved deeply into the question. Synthesis consists of a simple combining of information and or knowledge drawn from the research into a research outcome. So you're putting together all of your information, but you haven't analysed that information. You haven't come to any new conclusions. You're simply combining existing information. Substantiation consists of the acknowledgement of some key findings from the research and the validation of some findings with examples. Although the meaning is usually clear, ideas tend to be expressed informally, and not all sources are acknowledged. Now you must get a C, a minimum of a C minus in order to pass research project. And that looks pretty similar to a C. Outcome may not be put together in an orderly or well-functioned whole. Synthesis consists of the filtering of some knowledge, skills, or ideas drawn from the research, but depth and complexity are not evident, and attempts are made to acknowledge some sources.
Would you say?
Okay, let's look at where you can look at some examples. If you go to Google and you go to Google SACEboard Research Project, you can go here. You click Teachers, you click Support Materials, you click Outcome. There's several things here that we're going to look at as well. Now if you click Interactive Clarifying Activity and you click Assessment Type 2 Outcomes, Subject Requirements and Strategies, there's a video here that you can watch that describes what's required for the outcome, and there's two examples here. One is an A+ example and one is a C+ example. Watch the video, have a look at the two samples, submit your assessment decision, and then watch the video, the next video, explaining why each one has been awarded the grade that it has been awarded. Then you need to email me and let me know whether you are right in your assessment of each one. Here are some helpful words to use in your research project. These words are all up on Moodle under helpful words for topic 9. So some words that show contrast. So although, however, besides, nevertheless, on the contrary. Words that add to an idea, additionally, as well as, in addition, furthermore, likewise. Words that illustrate consequence, accordingly, due to, for this reason, hence, subsequently. Words that emphasize, admittedly, above all, especially, particularly. Words that give examples, chiefly, especially, illustrated with, in this case, and words that sequence time. In the first place, lastly, pursuing this further, finally, to be sure, additionally, lastly, and words that summarise, in brief, in any case, that is to say, overall, and finally. These words will help you to make your outcome more easily read, help you to express your ideas more clearly, and help to prevent you from repeating the same phrases throughout your research project. So you can view those on Moodle. You should think before you write. Before you write a sentence or paragraph, ask yourself these questions. Does what I'm about to write relate directly to the focus question? Can I verify it with supporting evidence? Is it logical? Will it lead to a finding? Will the reader be enriched? Am I convincing the reader my statement relates to the focus question? If your answer is no to any of these things, you should not be including it in your outcome. You have limited space. Do not write something in your outcome if it does not meet all of these requirements. Here is some information about word limits, etc. And I'm going to put this up on Moodle. And there's also some examples of annotating and providing evidence for your research project. So these are some examples of substantiation or substantiating. So I'm going to send this out and put it on Moodle. Here's a template if you choose to write a report. So you've got a cover page, summary statement, introduction, the body containing appropriate headings, conclusion and bibliography, and you'll see an example of what a report looks like when you do the task on the SACEBOard website. Here are some examples of different creative ways people have presented their research project. So the research outcome is the answer to your research question that is substantiated by evidence and examples from your research. You may present this in any format you choose, and the purpose of this PowerPoint is to highlight some examples of less conventional formats. It will also provide guidance on possible methods to substantiate and evidence your research. So, substantiation is backing up your findings. There are two ways to approach this. You need to provide evidence of where your ideas come from, or you need to explain how you carried out your research and give reasons for your chosen methodology. So here's some so here there are three different categories that we're looking at here. Key findings and substantiation, which together form a product. Key findings and substantiation with parts of or reference to a separate product. And key findings which are annotations on a product with substantiation from evidence and examples of the research. So let's look at a few. Here's some that fit into the first category. So this is things that form a product. A documented science experiment detailing methodology. A web page with in-text referencing. A recipe book with explanation of the methodology throughout. A pamphlet and a referenced oral history explaining where the ideas originated from. Here's some with parts of or reference to a separate product. A mailbox with annotated photos of it being constructed. A motorized drift bike with a guide detailing the steps in its construction. Urban artwork with annotated sketches of the work in progress and reviewed photographs of similar artworks. The final one, key findings annotated on a product with substantiation from evidence and examples of the research. What is the process of scoring a soundtrack for a film? How do I compose a rap song in the style of Drake? A recording of the song being performed with notes and a guidebook explaining the methodology. Okay, I'm going to send you out this PowerPoint so you can have a look at the rest yourself. Please read the instructions in the email that I'm sending you for instructions on what tasks you need to complete this week. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I would like you to start brainstorming straight away about how you are going to present your outcome. You're going to have about 2 to 3 weeks to complete your outcome in full. Make sure that you send me write an introduction, send me that. Write your first paragraph, send me that. We're going to check as we go along, and that way I can make sure that you're on the right track. Okay, thank you.